Hi everyone and welcome back. Thank you so much to those of you who commented, liked, or subscribed within the past week. It means a lot. I really especially enjoy comments because it gives me a chance to interact and say hi and to know that someone's out there and to know what you're interested in hearing me talk about. So thank you very much for that. Excuse me, I have a canine who would like her toy thrown for a fetch. I don't know if she'll stop by or not. We'll see. But anyway, today is Veterans Day as I'm recording this, and as I post it, I will get it up on Wednesday, so it will still be on time. So if you are a veteran of your country's military, particularly those of you in the United States, particularly my friends, my family. If you have served your country in that capacity, thank you very much. It is very appreciated. Yeah, it means a lot to me. My grandfather was a Marine and proudly flew his flag on the flagpole, his United States flag and his Marine Corps flag, until the day he died. So that is something that does mean something to me, and I appreciate it very much. So yeah, November is kind of a weird time for me. It is here we have a lot of state holidays, and I've mentioned before that I am a state employee. So it's always weird because it's hard to keep track of when you're supposed to be at work. Like today I wasn't at work, last week I wasn't at work on election day, then Thanksgiving is coming up, and it's just, it's been kind of crazy. And I think it's kind of reflected, since I don't have a set schedule, it's reflected what I get done in terms of my crafting. But I do have stuff for you today. We actually have a whip update that has some substance. This past weekend was 24 hours of cross stitch. I did about 10 hours of that. I've had a really frustrating situation going on with something that took a lot of time. I was on text and email with customer support trying to resolve this issue, and it resolved rather unsatisfactorily. So I am no longer a fan of DoorDash. And if you ever want to hear the story, I'll be happy to tell you. So that distracted me a lot, and instead of 24 hours of cross stitch, I got more like 10. But that means I still got some progress. So let's go ahead and jump right into the whip update, and I'll show you what I got done. I'll talk a little bit about what I'm thinking about doing for this coming week, and then I'll just let you go. Okay, first off, we're going to go ahead and get into the knitting. And if you watched my video last week, you know that I learned how to do a long tail cast on, and I learned how to join my knitting in the round and knit on double pointed knitting needles. I want to say it was all sunshine and roses, but I'd be lying. So, but it actually wasn't that bad. Because I think if you watched the video, you know I snuck in a little update there that when I had started actually doing the knitting, I dropped a stitch, so I was down. A little bit later on, I dropped another stitch and I didn't notice it. And so I was going to have to rip it down like halfway, and so I decided I might as well rip it down the whole way. It'll give me some more practice doing the long tail cast on to cast it on again. I'll know that I have the right number of stitches, so I won't have to remember to alter the pattern when I do the second sock. So I did that. And here is my sock so far. I really need to get a new light for this room. Everything looks so yellow. I've noticed that when I'm taking pictures for Instagram too. Probably what I need is just a new light bulb. But here we go. And you can see I got all the ribbing done. And I've just barely started into the leg of the sock. I think I've got 2 rows in on the leg of the sock. But this is my ugly yarn. And it's working out about as well as expected. But there's a first time for everything, and if this pair of socks goes well, then I have some really pretty yarn that I want to actually make me a pair that I'll wear not around the house. But these are going to be around the house socks. But I'm just excited because look, it's round, it's connected, it's ribbed where it's supposed to be ribbed, and I actually did it. So I'm going to put this right back in my bag. This has been going with me pretty much everywhere, so that hopefully if I get a chance to work on it, it is with me. Because it's a lot easier to pull out this than it is to pull out a pattern and a hoop and floss and everything else. So it travels easier than my cross stitch. That's the pattern. Okay, so yeah, this weekend. Worked on, most of what I worked on are projects that you've seen. There's going to be a couple that you either haven't seen in a long time or may not have seen at all. So, but I'm going to start with the ones that you have seen. And the first one of those, guys, still trying not to say guys. I'm still not doing great, but folks, I'm really upset about this one. This is Stitching Book Club's Frankenstein. And I found a mistake. And it's a pretty big mistake. So I'm going to kind of talk out what I'm thinking about doing. If you've got suggestions, I'd love to hear them. So here is where I am. And really all that I've done in the last little while is I came in and I did all of this border. So I just have this one line left to go. The total outer border, and then I have to fix this. And here's what happened. Everything in these 2 squares is 2 stitches too high, or 2 rows too high. Because if you look, you can see where the top border is supposed to go, and this part of the border is supposed to be right there, where the cloud is. And also is the top of the moon. And then since I counted out from there, this is all too high by 2 rows. So, I am not going to frog all of this. No, I'm not. It would just probably, this would never get finished if I had to do that. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to frog, obviously, this part. And bring it down so that the border matches all the way across. I am going to frog the moon and this cloud. That is just one separate piece of thread. It's not connected to any of the rest of this. So I can frog that, move it down 2 rows. With the author's name, all I'm going to do, I'm going to add 1 more row of like the dotted line underneath the bottom, and then I'm just going to adjust everything up here. I'm going to knock it down 2 rows, and I think that I can just take out a couple of the leaves on the flowers above her name, and that should be fine. So the only part that I'm really not sure what I'm going to do with is the clouds, because these clouds, they're not attached to this, I don't think. Let me look at my back. They're not. This is separate, but they are connected to all of this. So I'm wondering if I can start frogging at the top and just slowly unpick this and take out just the clouds and just move them all 2 rows down. I don't know yet. So it needs more thinking. I don't know. Maybe I'll get to thinking about it this weekend. But here's where it is right now. I'm really tempted to kind of just continue working on border because there's so much of it, and then I can just, when I feel a little bit more ambitious, I can go ahead and jump in and get the, figure out what I'm going to do with those 2 squares. But this one is, it's closing in on done. But there's a big roadblock in the way. So that was a depressing discovery, and may have committed, oh, here we go. Get your nose out of there. That is not for you. I think you're going to get a greeting. Are you going to come say hi? All right, come on up. Say hi. Say hi, Lou. Never fails. I like you too. Yes, thank you. So the only problem is as soon as she hears me start talking, there's no one else here, so I must be talking to her. And so she must come see what's going on. All right, that's it. Thank you. She is going through like all of my crap stuff right now. She's generally pretty good about, she doesn't like chew on things, or she's just like a bull in a china shop though. If I have something stacked up, she's gonna knock it over. She's not gonna mean to. She's gonna scare the crap out of herself. She's gonna run away and hide. But she's gonna knock it over. So that's why you hear the plastic thudding in the background. I really need to clean this room. Other stuff you've seen. I worked a little bit on Everything is Fine, the Good Place Stitch Along from Son of a Stitch. Not a ton. This is what I was working on when I kind of ran out of steam. So here's where we are, and the next one has already come out, and it's one of my favorite characters, so I gotta try to get a move on this one because I really want to get to Dorban Jeff. So I filled in some more of the dress, and you can kind of see that starting to take shape. I've also started the words. I decided to do a technique. Well, it's not a technique, but it's kind of a way of working that I tend to do when I have something that there's a lot of one color. And I did this with Natsu with all the black. I did this with Wonders of Space with all the black. I did it with Everything is Fine with all the black. Where I'll do something in color, and then I'll take that really ever-present color, and I will I'll do a strand of that, because I do a loop start, so one strand folded over to give me 2 strands over 1 stitching. So I'll do a strand of whatever it is. In this one, it is going to be this green color. The green color from the good font and from all of the border, because this border is going to go around all 10. Oh wait, you've had your love. Give me 20 minutes. I may not get 20 minutes. I may get 20 seconds. I think you're about to see. Yep, there's the head. Anyway, this green is everywhere. So I think what I'm going to start doing is what I've done in the past, where I'll work a little bit of the color. I'll come and do some green. Probably start with the words. Something else I like to do on borders is, like, I just did this eye, and there was a lot of thread left. So I took that, folded it in half, and I just worked border until it ran out. So that I'm not like doing, this is where I start to get into trouble counting. Did I do 25 rows straight of 2 stitches each straight down, or is that 30 rows? So I try to do the borders like this, those little strands. First of all, I'm not wasting floss, and second of all, yeah, I did 5. Then I did another 5. Then I did another 5. And eventually it stretches out, and I'm not getting into that mode where I'm counting and giving myself a chance to lose count. So that's what I'm planning to do on this one. So Tahani is going to go here, and then I'd like to have like all the main characters along the top. So then I think I'm going to do a square down here, and then go a square further before I do the doorman, so that all of the minor characters that I'm going to be working on are on the bottom. So that it would be Michael, Tahani, I don't know, but like Eleanor, Chidi, Jason, Janet, all along the top. And then on the bottom would just be the minor characters. So that's where that is. I got to work on my temperature stitch along. I'm excited. I'm still way behind. I'm about 2 weeks behind at this point. So it'll take me a couple of weeks of getting some good stitching done on a Tuesday. I had an hour and I got exactly 7 squares done, so a week. So with 2 hours, I should be able to get closer to 2 weeks done. And sorry, I have a dog and she keeps distracting me. Closer to 2 weeks done. So over the next 2 weeks, I'm hoping to catch up all the way. But here's where I'm at right now. And again, all of these places where it looks like I've missed, well, actually, you can almost see it there. That is actually navy étoile. This is current through October 23rd, so this is October 23rd right here. Our weather lately has been crazy, so this border is going to be nutso. We've been from a high of 79 to a low of 26. We went through a nice cold snap, then the last few days, last maybe a week, we've had like 70s again, and then today it was maybe in the 50s or the 60s. So it's just been crazy. I think I said on my Instagram, somebody asked about the vibrant colors, and I said, well, the Midwest is not great for having predictable weather, but it's great if you want something really comfortable on your temperature chart. So yeah, this is where I am, almost halfway across the top, and I should be working my way across down here. But the next couple weeks, hopefully I will catch up. Are you comfortable? Dark Queen. Loving it. I am still loving it. Actual progress was made this week, and I'm really proud of it. So here we are. All 3 fish are done. Yay! So yeah, except for the back stitching, and I think what I'm going to do, because I believe the same color back stitching that's going to be used on the fish is also used on the coral that's on her hips that you don't see yet, but it's going to be right there. So on part 2. So I think I'm just going to wait until I get the whole thing, the whole of part 2 done before I go back in and fill in all that back stitching, since it's all in the same color. So, but yeah, I've started to fill in a little bit more. I've had to be cautious in here because somewhere in here I made a counting error. I think I finally figured out that it's somewhere on the tail, but anyway, this was all too close together. So I was really worried that I was going to make this either too wide or too narrow, and then I was going to count up here and like it wasn't going to line up. So I'm trying to be careful and fill this in. It looks kind of haphazard, but there is a method to my madness. So I'm still working on filling in the lower part of her torso here. then I have the upper, and then I have the upper body from basically from the neck down. We have pattern for now, and I'm gonna keep rolling on it because, I mean, seriously, isn't this gorgeous? So pretty. I love Autumn Lane. So, and the fabric also from Under the Sea Fabrics, gorgeous. And the last thing, I think I mentioned last week that I'm starting with a new priority project, and that's going to be the stitch along that I am the furthest behind on. So that right now is Grimm's Fairy Tales. I'm about 8 months behind, give or take. And so here's what I got done this week. And I'm just going to go ahead and kind of zoom in on this area because it's the fisherman and his wife, so it's all of this. And there's a little bit more to be filled in here and then right down here. And obviously I don't have a fish yet, but here's where we're at. I got the letters done. I've started filling in some of like the floral embellishments. The queen is done except for her eyes. And the fisherman is basically done except for his eyes. And then I have to, like I said, add the fish over the pool. So hopefully this week, this one will be done and I can start on August's down here, which is Sleeping Beauty. So there we go. So that's my big plan for this week is I still have to work. Go figure. They expect me to keep working if they're going to keep paying me. So I have to work. So I'll probably only have time for like maybe an hour or two of stitching a day. So the big thing that's going to get done is Grimm's Fairy Tales. And then, oh no, I have one more project to show you. Which is the other project I'll probably work on this week, which is what made me think of it. And this one is for me. I think I had mentioned that I want to try and get some of my smaller projects off my plate so that I can move on to other projects. And I misspoke last week. I said that my goal was to have no new starts before Mania next year, and that's not completely true because I plan to still do some stitch-alongs. I know that Stitching Book Club is doing a Christmas Carol. Sign-ups actually just started today. I might post the sign-up link in my notes for this video, but I'm not sure because I know that she's having some problems with her platform. I had seen some things on Instagram about it. I haven't had a chance to sign up yet because I was away from home most of the day. But if I can figure out what's going on, I'll try to post the sign-ups for you for Stitching Book Club for A Christmas Carol. It's going to be a quick, small stitch. It's going to be released in thirds. It's going to be, and then the reading is going to be, the reading's not going to be broken up because it's such a short book. It's going to be, read all of it. But she said it'll be wrapped up by Christmas so that you could have your Christmas Carol stitch done by Christmas. So there's that. Wonders of the Solar System, which is from Climbing Goat, who did the Wonders of Space, that I loved so much, is going to start in January. Clouds Factory is starting to drop hints about what their... I'm sorry if you can hear that. She is sitting like right behind me, being a dog. Clouds Factory is starting to drop hints about what theirs is going to be. That's also going to come out around the first of the year. So, no new starts that aren't stitch-alongs, is what I'm going to say. Because the beginning of the year is when a lot of really fun stitch alongs start, and I don't want to miss the boat. But anyway, so I'm trying to focus on some of my smaller projects, and one of them that I wanted to focus on was introvert recharging. So here's where I'm at. I got all of the words done. I got the battery done. I had to do a little bit of creative design adjustment on the battery because I put the charging symbol way too far to one side. I've counted it a million times and I don't understand why it doesn't look right, but it doesn't look right. So I added this little line to kind of make it look like it was a little bit more centered. So I got the words done, introvert recharging, and then I've just barely started the woman sitting over here on the side, who is like me in everything except instead of a Lexi, she has a cat. So, yeah, and it stitched really quick. This was 2 hours. 2 hours of work. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit more. It's a little more solid than just the letters, but it's still going to be a pretty quick stitch. This is by Graded Expectations. It's not the first one of hers I've done. It was before I started doing Flosstube, but if you followed my Instagram, she did the Carcassonne. I'm pretty sure it was the Carcassonne pattern that I gave one of my friends for Christmas last year. So there's that one. And I really like this, and it's going to be mine. And I want to hang it up by my desk at work. So there you go. That's what I've been working on. That is probably the other one that will get worked on this week, if anything. I will get some knitting in. I'm working from home the next couple days, and at least one of those is a training that involves some videos, so busy fingers means I pay attention better. So I will probably get, I'm not going to call them the webinar socks, but probably get some work done on those. Unless it's really, there are some talks that I can't listen to and stitch at the same time. But this one I should be able to. We'll see. So that's that. And thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a great week. And until I get a chance to talk to you again, I hope you stay safe and stay healthy. And I'll see you next week. Bye.